All right. Of course, community members speaking to some of our reporters say that when this happens, and the reason that most people would then would be necessitated to cross those rivers is because they have to go to their homes. They have to go back to their children. It's not that they are not heeding the authorities' calls for people to stay away from those rivers. It would be out of desperation. And of course, that desperation is what then led to the death of a 4-year-old Siyanda Baloyi in Limpopo, whose mom tried desperately to save her son, but she too was swept away by that current. Katlego, I do believe you are on the line for us. Just give us a sense then in terms of what President Cyril Ramaphosa has been saying and where he is expected to then go to, given the fact that most of the province has been devastated by these floods.
And we are talking here, Unati, of two districts in particular, the Vembe district as well as the Mopani district, situated in the northeastern part of the Limpopo province. Now, we are currently reporting from Mbaula village, which is among one of the hardest hit areas, looking at the severe disruptive torrential rains. At any moment, we are certainly anticipating the arrival of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who will land here in a chopper at a local sports ground before coming to interact with communities that have been affected. I can tell you that we've seen some of the markings of the level of the water, the manner in which it was high on the houses of some of the affected community members. And behind me here is the family of that 4-year-old that you mentioned in your intro, who's they're still searching for, rather, rescue workers are still searching for 4-year-old Siyanda Baloyi, who was of course swept away by the strong, powerful currents of the local Mbaula River. There has been severe devastation. We've seen bridges being washed off, completely washed off. Some of them, community members, they're grappling, trying to try and salvage whatever that is left of that infrastructure. The MEC for Kokta in Limpopo, Basikopo Makamu, has already arrived, and a clear indication that he's going to welcome President Cyril Ramaphosa as he arrives here. And other parts that the president is certainly going to be visiting are in the Vembe district, areas that have experienced damage as a result of this particular heavy rainfall. So we are here monitoring what will be unfolding as the president arrived. We've spoken to community members who say that they would like to hear government really indicating to them the manner in which they're going to provide temporary relief. We have seen, Unati, some emergency workers. We have seen workers on the ground trying to do some damage control. But however, the MEC Basikopo Makamu stated that at the moment it's really difficult because the rainfall still remains unpredictable. The weather service indicates that the levels of strong rains will subside from Saturday. So we'll certainly be here monitoring that visit by the president to come and inspect the damages here, and we'll keep our viewers abreast of the latest developments. Unati.
Before I let you go, maybe just give us also a sense in terms of just the conversations that you've been having, not only with community members in those two districts, but also businesses that have been left devastated. I mean, one of the important things to remember, and perhaps to also remind our viewers, is that some of the areas, particularly where President Cyril Ramaphosa is at now, those areas have been devastated to such an extent that the media cannot access, some of those roads, which is why we are then getting footage from the presidency as well as the premier who are at that particular location.
The business community is also largely hit. Earlier in the morning, we're reporting from an area around Zanin, outside Zanin. In fact, called Baloyi. Now, it is a very moist and damp area in itself. Now, with this rainfall, it has exacerbated the situation with regards to the movement, right, of people, including delivery vans, delivery trucks that normally come to areas in Baloyi to come and deliver parcels and items for the local businesses. One young businessman told us that his business has been negatively affected. Not only businesses are Unati, we've also spoken to farmers in this area. The Mopani Farmers Association released a statement yesterday saying that they have seen devastation to their local crops, devastation and destruction to their irrigation systems, and that also some of the farm employees, farm workers are not able to reach farms in areas like Zumeri, for example, where there are some of these communal farmers saying that there has been quite harsh, severe devastation on their farming operations. So certainly businesses, the farming community are affected, and we know that schools remain on suspension. And yesterday, one of the community leaders in Guyana told us that there is a clinic that is inaccessible as a result of this damage. Unati.
Of course, just before I let you go, just give us a sense in terms of, we've spoken a lot about also businesses, community members. There were several schools, particularly in those two districts, that were also closed. I mean, schools opened yesterday. Any update there in terms of when those schools will reopen, or has the situation stabilized somewhat?
So as it currently stands, from the emergency meetings which have been taking place involving the departments that are involved, we are talking here the education department, the COGTA department, to an extent also the South African Weather Service, local councillors and other leaders, it remains for now that the schools that have been affected in areas where the education department in the province cautioned both teachers as well as learners to avoid flooded areas, in order for their safety to take precedence. The statement still remains the suspension of schools up until Friday, going into the weekend, where the Weather Service anticipates that the rainfall will subside and start to ease. Then on the 19th, on Monday, that is when they likely expect that schools will reopen. We'll certainly go back to the affected areas and see if indeed learners are back at school. Unati.
All right, Katlego, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much. We'll obviously go back to Katlego when we can, as soon as President Cyril Ramaphosa does then go to that area.